Good afternoon and welcome to the 100 Days in Celebration for the class of 2024. We're so grateful that you're all able to join us today to carry on the tradition of celebrating this memorable transition to high school. I'm Emily Theriault and I'm the grade 9 team lead, which means I have the privilege of designing and helping to support teachers in implementing the advisory program for grade 9 students. As team leader and also a grade 9 teacher, I've had the opportunity to get to know most of the class of 2024 and have made some really unique observations about this group. First off, you're a very competitive bunch. I've seen you rally together in advisory for the regular trivia quizzes with enthusiasm and gumption, always following up with me to ensure the scoring is accurate and your house is getting the correct number of points. You're also an inclusive group. When undertaking a personal action project in my Global Issues in Action course this year, several students proposed the idea for their goal of getting to know one new student to ASD every day for over the course of the project in order to strengthen the ninth grade community in unprecedented times. Lively is another word that comes to mind when describing the class of 2024. You have an abundance of energy, and it has been so refreshing to see you all make the most of your outdoor lunches, enjoying the open spaces of our beautiful campus, playing sports, and laughing with teachers and friends. My hope for your high school experience is that in addition to academic dedication, you get involved in activities that foster happiness and personal growth. Make the most of the next 4 years by discovering your passions. Join clubs and interact with students from around the globe. Spend lots of time continuing to make memories with your family and friends before you head off to college or whatever else you decide to do after you graduate. Finally, commit to developing routines and organizational skills that will help further to allow you to take ownership of your own learning over the next 4 years and beyond. On behalf of your teachers, we're so proud of the positivity and adaptability you've displayed so far this year. Without further ado, I have the honor of introducing your grade 9 reps this year, Rosie Moon and Noor Musbah, who will follow with a few words of inspiration for you now as well. Take it away, Rosie and Noor.
Good afternoon, freshmen. My name is Rosie Moon, representing the class of 2024.
And I'm Norma Spach, the other rep of the class of 24. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon and welcome to our 100 Days in Freshman celebration. Now, I'm sure there are a few mathematicians out there who figured out that we're a little bit under 100 days, but you don't need to call us out like that. We can just round it up to 100 and call it even.
Before we begin, we would like to thank the admissions office with a special shout out to Mr. Chudnik for their hard work in putting together today's virtual event. On behalf of the entire grade, we'd also like to thank the high school administrative team, our counselors, and our teachers who have all worked so hard this year to support us and to ensure our transition to high school has been a positive one. While we weren't able to hold this event in person, we still have so much to celebrate about our class.
Who would have thought that our 2-week break in March would turn to 5 months? Though quarantine might have been difficult, we'd like to thank the creators of TikTok and Zoom for giving us ways to spend our time. We ruined our kitchens with whipped coffee and edible cookie dough. We made our way through buzzcut and bleach season. Most of us have played Among Us, and I think we can all agree that Red is sus. Online school is a new experience for all of us. Some of us thrived, while others, myself included, struggled a little bit. But through everything, we adapted and we transitioned into high school pretty well.
We did get slightly more sleep in middle school, but high school has given us so much freedom. We get to have our phones and we get to make our own decisions. In the past 4 months, we've gone a long way from those lost little freshmen, and while we do still get lost sometimes, we've gotten the hang of it. We're past our preteen years and we're one step closer to being on our own.
Freshman year might not have been what we thought, but we're lucky to be in the same boat, making our way to these 4 years together. Our class is crazy to say the least, but we should cherish the time that we have together. In the blink of an eye, we'll be at our 100 Days Out ceremony as seniors ready to graduate. So let's make the most of our high school lives. Join that club, learn that sport, try new things, and do what makes you happy. But sometimes you won't want to be happy, and we won't hold that against you. Quote Miss Dixie D'Amelio.
On that note, we've got a great list of speakers for you today, so we want to encourage everyone to sit back, laugh, relax, and enjoy the show. Please give a warm welcome to Dr. Becky Berg, our Associate Superintendent.
Hello, everyone. Hello, parents. Hello, let's see, ninth graders, freshmen, frosh, and class of 2024. 100-ish days in is something to celebrate. It's such an honor to join you today as we celebrate your 100 days. I know that some of you may be new to ASD and some of you may be old veterans of ASD, but nevertheless, I want to take just a few minutes to talk to you about the American School of Dubai and your time here. For ASD, I have worked in education a long time. Even though I'm only 25 years old, I have worked in education a long time. I have never seen a school so committed to its mission and core values as ASD is. Our mission is to challenge and inspire each student to achieve their dreams and to become a passionate learner prepared to adapt and contribute to a rapidly changing world. Boy, has our world changed rapidly in the past year. Don't dismiss your dreams and passions. They help define who you are, who you will be. Never give up your dreams. As we know, the old saying says, shoot for the moon, and if you miss, you'll land among the stars. Our core values, as you know, are compassion, excellence, integrity, respect, and responsibility. As you progress through your high school years, please hold those core values close. I had a chance to attend an ASD alumni event in San Francisco a couple of years ago, and I could literally see the manifestation of our core values in everyone who attended. They had started nonprofit organizations to make the world a better place. They showed a genuine interest in me, a person they had never met and didn't know. They talked about their dreams and their passions. They really embodied our mission statement and our core values. That will be you in a few years, and we will be in your cheering section. Now for your time here. You are quite possibly living your first year in high school in one of the strangest and most challenging times in recent history. You may be wondering if you're learning enough in your math classes, if you're reading enough in English language arts, if you're writing enough, if you're doing enough experiments, and if you're performing enough in athletics and the arts. My answer might scare you, and it is probably you're not covering as much as you normally would. And I say cover in the idea of stuffing you full of facts and figures. That doesn't mean our teachers aren't giving it their all. They have never worked this hard. They are tirelessly fighting for you and trying to create unique experiences with this new online platform and in the classroom with some of you in class and some of you at home. None of us have done that before, so they are really our heroes. Given that, it's just not the same as being on campus 100% of the time. What I will tell you though, is you're gaining something unique that I sure didn't have in high school, and many of us didn't have in high school. You're developing some skills that are far beyond how many novels you've read and how many of experiments you have done. You're building resilience. When something doesn't go as planned, or we can't pull off a tradition like we would have in person, you are gaining the experience in being flexible. You may be disappointed, but you will persevere and you will move on. You are also learning selflessness. Although you want to gather off campus and attend big events and toss that annoying mask wherever mine is, you are thinking of the bigger picture of keeping your friends, family, schoolmates, and community safe. You're forgoing some of the events that make you happy for the greater good. And that is selflessness. And that is really hard to teach within the four walls of a classroom. You are also realizing that pandemics may make some of your mental health issues or those of your family and friends a little worse. We're isolated, we're alone, we're not with each other to solve problems. And you're learning to talk about that. And perhaps you're able to get help for yourself or for your family and friends. If so, you're not alone, and that is huge. It's a major accomplishment in learning for the rest of your life. You are becoming comfortable with ambiguity, which means lack of clarity or predictability. This is a skill that some people never learn, and yet one that is exercised every single day in the workplace. Resilience, selflessness, awareness of the importance of mental health, and comfort with ambiguity. These skills you will carry with you for the rest of your life, through college, through your workplace, through your current family, and to your future family. Again, this is huge, and you are unique in being able to learn these skills kind of the hard way, but you'll learn them. As you proceed through high school years, please rely on the adults around to help you, guide you in the right direction, and solve your problems. Your teachers are here to help you in any way possible. They not only care about their subject matter, but they care deeply about you as a person. That's why they became teachers. Don't be embarrassed or feel awkward about reaching out for them for help with the little things and the big things. They're there to help you. And most of all, stay connected to your parents. Although you think you are old and you may not need them as much, you need them now more than ever. Of course, they love you, but we parents also love to be sounding boards for your ideas, to talk about current world events and your opinions and viewpoints, and to hear about what you want to share about your friendships and to talk about your future. Our role as parents shifts a little bit as you get older, from caretaker and manager to really advisor and mentor. But what doesn't shift, deep commitment to you as our children. Even when things return to normal, these meaningful relationships with adults will always be crucial for your development. Don't take them for granted. So in closing, remember what makes ASD unique and you as a student unique. Focus on what you are learning that is invaluable, and keep depending on the adults in your life as you go through these years of development, because you are going to need them and we need you. Now I'll turn this over to Dr. Lalonde, your principal. And by the way, he's another adult you can rely upon. Dr. Lalonde.
Thanks, Dr. Berg. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Going well? Yeah, thanks very much. Dr. Berg, I'm going to take that advice to heart myself. I think it's worthwhile. So thanks for offering it to not just the students, but us as well. Parents, teachers, and most importantly, students, it's an honor to be with you here today. Fairy tales end with a very familiar refrain, don't they? You know it. And they all lived happily ever after. I can't hear you, so if you answered it, it didn't matter. What an arbitrary place to stop. Don't they go on further adventures? Doesn't anything else happen? Well, of course it doesn't. These are stories, not real life. With real lives, we have to create those moments we mark as special, the ones that are valuable enough for us to take time from our schedules to come together and reflect like this. So what do we hope to accomplish with these events, these special events? Well, we cultivate a sense of community. It reminds us that we're all in this together. We add meaning and significance to our lives. Rituals remind us that we're following a path that many others have traveled as well. And we hope we create lasting memories. We create a stopping point and remember who we were with and what was happening. We often pick significant numbers to mark these special events. We picked 100 days, but we could have also picked 10,950. Any idea why? Well, if you're in that 14, 15 range, that's probably the number of times you've brushed your teeth in your life so far. We could have also called it 131,400. Any ideas? Well, again, if you're in grade 9, that's probably around the number of hours you've been alive. Or maybe we should have called it 10,368,000. Well, that's the number of times your heart has beat just this year since you started grade 9. You might not think being in high school for 100 days is a big deal. Well, I've been heavily involved in the planning of this year, and I've also seen you in masks, socially distanced, trying to figure out what direction to go in the hallway. It's a big deal. We all want to get to the end of COVID, the end of social distance, the return to normal. But rushing that, we risk a huge loss along the way. The trials that we're experiencing together. This is the kind of stuff people build monuments about. So what is the risk? Well, to illustrate it, let me tell you a short version of an old story to make my point. There once was a young girl who was always thinking about what she wasn't doing. When she was in school, she dreamed of playing outside. When she was outside playing, she dreamed of summer vacation. When she was at the movies, she was texting with her friends who weren't there. She constantly daydreamed, never taking the time to savor the special moments that filled her days. As often happens in these stories, she met a woman while walking in the woods who offered her a magic golden thread. This is the thread of your life. If you pull the thread just a bit, an hour will pass in seconds. If you pull harder, whole days will pass in minutes. And if you pull with all your might, months, even years will pass by in days. The next day, the girl was sitting in the classroom, feeling restless and bored. She felt the thread and pulled it a little bit, and she was suddenly at home on the weekend. Seeing the power of the thread, she kept it with her. She saw the girls in middle school, and she didn't feel like being in elementary school anymore, so she pulled the thread. She had an argument with a friend, pulled the thread, and she was in high school, and the friend was gone. She got a bad result on a test, pulled the thread, and suddenly she was in university. Dating was hard and emotionally intense, so she pulled the thread and she was married with kids. Money was tight, so she moved on to middle age. Her children started to have their own challenges, so again, she pulled the thread and found herself a grandmother. Next, she found herself alone. So she went for a walk in the woods where, again, she met the woman who'd given her the golden thread. "How have you enjoyed my special gift?" she asked. "Gift? Your gift was a curse. My whole life passed before my eyes without giving me the chance to enjoy it. Sure, there would have been sad times as well as great times, but I haven't had the chance to experience either. I feel empty inside. I missed the gift of living." This story is what's known as a cautionary tale. It's a reminder that to live life fully, we need to be present to our experiences. And it's a story that reminds us that it takes time and challenge to become anything. It's not just the story of appreciating the moment, it's the story of being intentional with your moments. The future will come and so will opportunities. The opportunities will be there for those who are ready. One of the best-selling titles of the year 350 before the Common Era was Aristotle's Ethics. In it, he shares the idea that we are what we repeatedly do, and that excellence isn't an act, but a habit. One of the best-selling titles of 2019 was James Clear's Atomic Habits. We're still trying to get it right more than 2,000 years later. In Atomic Habits, James Clear talks about how you can build a system for getting better, 1% every day. And if you do that, that 1% adds up with interest. And that's the path to becoming an expert. He talks about what you need to do on day 1, day 2, day 3, if you plan to achieve your dream on day 100, day 1,000, or day 10,000. You don't have to read his book, but I can offer you one piece of advice from it, and that would be start today. Break your bad habits and stick to good ones. Design your environment to make success easier, and make tiny, easy changes because they'll deliver big results. In the words of that great American poet, Bob Dylan, you don't find yourself, you create yourself. Congratulations, class of 2024. You're on your way. Thanks very much for listening. And Mr. Tredenick, I'm going to turn things over to you now.
Thanks, Dr. Lalone, and I'll have Rosie and Noor introduce our student celebration.
Thank you so much, Dr. Berg and Dr. Lalonde. Now, today is about celebrating this year's freshmen, and there's no better way to do that than to share the talents of a member of our class. This song that we're about to hear is written and performed by our very own Selena Hussein. She began singing when she was 3 years old with the Phantom of the Opera and hasn't stopped since. With this, her first song, Selena has helped us all realize the power of the human voice when it comes to personal expression. We know that you'll enjoy it.
me falling for your games. I gave you 100 and got left with nothing. I know you'll come back tomorrow, forgetting the tears and screams yesterday had. I'm scared you'll leave me falling on my knees, begging, please don't leave. You want me, you need me, show me.
Wow, that was amazing. Thanks, Selena, for allowing us to play that. And honestly, it's just one example of the talent that this class has. And I continue to be amazed, and I get to sit and hear about all the great things that you guys continue to do. And really proud of all of you. So as I scroll through some of these photos, I'm really taken aback by the fact that you guys have dealt so well with all that's gone on, with all the challenges that you've been facing, and yet you show up every day with the same level of commitment, ready to make your community a better place. And it makes me proud to be a Falcon, and I'm truly excited to see what the future has in store for each and every one of you guys. So with that in mind, it is my honor to introduce our alumni speaker today. Mr. Varun Kamani is an alumnus of the class of 2004. After ASD, he went on to Babson College in Massachusetts before returning to Dubai, where he and his business partner founded VKD Hospitality. VKD Hospitality is dedicated to push the boundaries of lifestyle and culture, food and beverage concepts by acting as both owners and operators of joint hospitality enterprises. And this approach has led to successes such as, a Dubai staple, Miss Lily's Dubai, which has become the most celebrity frequented venue in town. Needless to say, Varun's entrepreneurial spirit, which of course he fostered at ASD while a student here, has served him well, and we are honored that he is here to speak with us today. Mr. Kamani, thanks so much for being with us.
You're most welcome. Thank you, Craig, for the kind introduction. Good afternoon, parents, teachers, and students of ASD. It's my absolute pleasure to be here today speaking to you all. I wish it could be in person, but I guess Zoom calls are the new normal. So class of 2024, welcome to the beginning of your high school journey. I know this pandemic really sucks, and this isn't exactly how you expected and you thought it would be. But hey, let's look on the bright side. We're all going through one of the most difficult and challenging times the world has ever seen. The experiences and the life lessons that you will learn during this time will not only help shape you, but it'll better prepare you for whatever life throws at you in the future. That's really what life's all about. It's about collecting these different experiences and applying these lessons for your own personal growth. Dr. Berg earlier mentioned this perfectly when she talked about resilience, comfort with ambiguity, and selflessness. So I guess that's kind of why I'm here to speak to you today, to kind of just share with you some of my memories when I was at ASD, and talk to you how the school helped me prepare for my entrepreneurial challenge, and kind of give you some insight on how you should really take advantage of the opportunities that ASD provides you to help prepare you for the real world and for your future. You guys are so lucky, and I was too, being an ASD, that we were in a school with endless amounts of resources at our fingertips. We have excellent faculty from all around the world, and you have one of the best extracurricular activity programs in the city. So I really urge you to take advantage of these opportunities while you're there and really make the most of it. I was telling Craig earlier before we started, how I haven't really had the chance to pause and reflect on my time at ASD for a very long time. And so I'm really thankful for this opportunity, Craig, and the faculty. And I think it's great. I joined ASD when I was in third grade, and I graduated, and I hold ASD so close to my heart. I made some of my best friends from third grade, who actually I'm still best friends with now today, almost 20 years later. And we all kind of went different paths, and we went to different places around the world. We went to universities in different places, and we still kept in touch, and we held that bond. And I think it's amazing that we were able to kind of grow up in this multicultural environment, meet people from different places, and still and keep that connection. I was quite active in high school. I worked hard. I played hard. I played a lot of sports. I tried to enroll myself in different extracurricular activities. But my main thing that drove me in high school was basketball. I was the starting point guard in junior varsity and varsity basketball. And that was like my whole world, besides studying, that was it. I was a gym rat. And I want to tell you about something that happened in my high school in ninth grade, which kind of changed my trajectory a bit, and it really helped me in the future. So ninth grade, one of my teachers comes to me and she's like, "Hey, we're doing a high school musical. It's called Grease. I'm sure you guys are familiar with it. I think you'd be great. You'd fit the role. Maybe you can try out." And I was like, "No, it's out of my comfort zone. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I don't know how I'm going to perform in front of hundreds of people. That's not my scene." She's like, "Just try it. I think it'll be really good. You were good at performing arts class. Give it a shot." So I said, "Fine, let me do it." I go out there and I try it, and I try out and I audition, and I get the part. I get one of the lead parts. So now, not only did I get a lead part, she gave me a solo song to sing, and she was like, "You're really good at it. You'll be fine. It's awesome, and we'll get you through your way." And now I'm freaking out. Now I'm like, how do I bail? What do I do? Ask my mom, ask my sister. I got the part, and then they're like, "You know what? That's amazing. Go for it. And I think you'll be great at it." Long story short, I did it. I stepped up on stage and I performed, and I loved it. And I actually loved it so much that I decided to enroll in musicals throughout the rest of my high school. So 10th grade, 11th, and 12th. So what I did was I was able to learn confidence, build my confidence. I was able to learn stage presence. I learned how to take direction, and I really honed my public speaking ability and skills, and that really helped me later down the line. Now that I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at how my career has progressed, and the takeaways which I've learned all along the way during my studies in college. That was an integral part in shaping me as a person and giving me that confidence to go out there and speak to people and doing that. So what are the key takeaways from that, and how does that apply to you? Try out for a different activity than you're used to. Why? I'll tell you why. It's because you're meeting and associating with different people with different interests, and they maybe even have a complete different mindset than you. So while this may seem awkward and a bit uncomfortable at the beginning, like it was to me, what it is it's really teaching you how to interact and step out of your comfort zone. And in the real world, this really comes to play, because in the future, you don't get a chance to really pick your boss or choose the colleague sitting next to you or who you're going to join in a team with, right? So you have to learn how to adapt. You have to find a commonality with people who are different than you. And it's such an important skill. So I really think that it starts now for you. So take that into consideration when you're next signing up for something, or you want to do something out of your comfort zone. I looked over the mission and the core values that ASD and Craig put forth, and I loved it. It says to challenge and inspire each student to achieve their dreams and to become a passionate learner prepared to adapt and contribute in a rapidly changing world. I really encourage you to go for it and try and achieve your dreams and your passions and follow your passions, and don't be afraid to fail. You have your whole life ahead of you, and you never know until you really give something a shot and you try. And the reason why it's important is because if you're not continually being inspired by what you do, then in the future, you're going to be in the wrong field. You need to be passionate about what you do, and you getting up every day for work, it's a grind. And there has to be some joy in it. Otherwise, you're going to burn out really quickly. So I was lucky in the sense that I've always had that bug for hospitality. And growing up, I remember a business studies class in ASD in 9th grade. I did a Johnny Rockets case study analysis with my friend, and we're talking about franchise expansion in restaurants. And it's funny, we're having a drink these days. We're looking back at that time, and we're saying how funny that he's like, you're into restaurants now and you're building a hospitality career. And I remember in 9th grade with you, we had that case study class in business in ASD, and it all comes full circle. So it's cool that I was lucky to find a field that I'm passionate about, and I've always been, and it really makes it easier getting up every day and going for that grind. The other part of the mission statement that it says you have to be prepared to adapt and contribute to a rapidly changing world. And we know that 2020 has shown us more than ever that we need to be nimble, prepared, and be able to pivot and adapt to any moment. So that's where all of these skill sets of being open-minded, being more self-aware, they all come into play, because it's going to help you for the future. Core values, it says compassion, excellence, integrity, respect, responsibility. So these all may be buzzwords, right? And you could say, okay, yeah, cool, they sound good, but how does it really make sense? These are words and keywords and attributes that you should all practice daily. And I can tie it into my experience. Now that I have my own company, and I graduated almost 20 years from high school, but I'm still looking at these words, and I'm still trying to instill all of these values into my company today, to my team members. So it's pretty cool how you can tie things from high school, which you may think it may be insignificant or not important, but fast forward almost 20 years down the line, it really does make sense. And there was another thing which I forgot to mention to you, tying into what I learned from being on stage in a musical. So I'm now looking at a hospitality company, which is completely two separate things from, a musical to a restaurant, right? But I use an analogy to my team when I give them a pre-shift, and I have over 100 people in my team. And when I speak to them, I say, hey, listen, restaurants and hospitality, it's like a show. It's like you're on stage, right? Because in hospitality, you leave your emotions at the door before you come to work. If you had a bad day, you broke up your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is, you're there to make sure that you provide the best possible guest experience. Your guests are your people, and it's a show. The moment the doors open, the moment the restaurant is open, that's what we're here for. So that's kind of how I tied in my experience. So just to close, again, look, there's no doubt that 2020 has been one of the most difficult years, but I just really hope that we all can carry forward the lessons we've learned together during this time. I hope you guys will all, and we can all continue to practice gratitude, value our health, support our community, and appreciate the way the world has shown its strength during this pandemic. I wish you all a new year filled with health, love, positivity, and happiness. And I really wish that you guys had an amazing rest of your high school career. I'm sure the pandemic will be over soon and you guys will be back to normal. And I really look forward to seeing what 2020 has in store for us. And let's not forget that there's magic in new beginnings. So peace.
Thank you, Mr. Kamani, for the heartfelt speech. Now, we would like to welcome our very own Student Government President, Kareem Azzadine, a senior from the class of 2021.
Thank you for the introduction, Rosie. Hello, everyone. I wanted to start off by expressing my gratitude today to the ASD admin and faculty, as well as Mr. Tredenick personally, for giving me the opportunity to speak with you guys today. It is a pleasure to join you guys, and as the last of today's speakers, I'll do my best to avoid keeping you guys too long. I, like many of you, started my time at ASD in middle school all the way back in 2016, and to be honest, I still really can't believe that it's coming to an end this year. By now, you guys are coming to the end of the first semester of your freshman year in fairly unprecedented times, and I, alongside the community, are truly proud of all that you've accomplished. The main purpose of me speaking today is to shed some light on what the rest of your journey throughout high school will look like. And to be honest, that job is a little different than I anticipated it would be this time last year. It's pretty difficult for me to tell you what's to come in the next 4 years. All I can say is that time is going to go by faster than you could ever imagine. Prepping for this speech, I actually remember experiencing my 100 days in, now well over 1,000 days ago. And while I was sitting in the theater listening to then SGA President Zach Genio, I remember he delivered quite an impressive speech that stuck with me, but looking back, there are a few things that I wish I had known. So I've dedicated my speech today to share with you guys 3 key pieces of the vast and monumental wisdom I've accumulated throughout my time in high school. Number 1, seize every opportunity, not just the ones put right in front of you, but often those that may seem out of reach. Sign up for the musical even if you can't hold a note, participate in a job shadow or internship even if you don't know the first thing about it, and sign up and take every opportunity, even if it's starting a business. High school is an amazing safety net to try things out, and it's never too early to take a chance. Secondly, be grateful. Be grateful for your teachers, the ASD admin, the red shirts, the security team, everyone who enables you to have the education that you do. Whether it's a smile in the morning or the email thanking you for fitting them into that last minute meeting, it goes a long way. Above all though, be grateful for your family and friends, especially your parents. You won't often realize it, but a wise man once said, "We are so busy growing up, we often forget they're also growing old." Number 3, learn to find the time to do the things you love without sacrificing the things you need. There will come a time when you are faced with having to choose between prepping for an exam or a night out. And like me, should you choose the night out, be ready to own up to the consequences of that action and learn from the choices you made. The habits and routines that you fall into now will either benefit you immensely throughout the rest of your high school journey, or they will come to haunt you during finals week. Lastly, don't get used to blaming other people for your mistakes. Down the line in your junior and senior year and throughout college and the rest of life, it will be your future on the line. So make the choices diligently. And while I do believe that a grade isn't a measure of your worth, it can oftentimes be an accurate measure of your effort. With all that kept in mind, the experience you take away in high school comes only second in value to the education you receive. Once again, I'd like to thank you guys for your time and wish you all the best on the remainder of your time in high school. Thank you.
Thank you for your inspiring words, Kareem. It's hard to believe that we'll be in your shoes in just about 3 years. You've given us a great way to follow.
It's been wonderful to have you all together celebrating our first event. You all have helped to make our first 100 days in high school truly memorable.
Please go straight to your next meeting for Block 4. Thank you all for coming to this event and have an amazing rest of your day.
And here's the Day 101.